So today we're going to talk about what a business owner can do to increase the value of their business. And for one simple reason. The day will come that they're either going to sell it or transfer it. And if you're going to transfer it, you might as well make it worth the most. So we're going to start with customers. Most buyers or people who look at business always want to know that customers, the kind of customers are going to stick around, and the kind of customers are going to definitely be valuable to the company. So what are some key things buyers want to see in a customer base? Well, number one, they want to make sure there's not a very heavy concentration in one or two particular customers. For example, if we have a customer that's responsible for 50 or 60% of the revenue of a company, and that customer for some reason leaves after the transfer, a buyer's left holding the bag because they have half or even less of revenue left over. So it's very important for business owners to make sure if you get one good customer, that's really great, but you always want to make sure you have other customers kind of keeping the pipeline full so that you have that extra value, what we call diversity of customers. Also, one important thing that people do with businesses, they get customers coming into the door through some initial advertising, but they don't have a good drip marketing campaign going. And as we can all attest, a good drip marketing campaign is important to have your customers become repeat customers. And that's the key thing buyers want to see, that when they take over, they're expecting customers to come back, whether it be every week or every month or every 3 months or 6 months, that they have a good marketing campaign in place so that customers know, hey, boom, the email marketing campaign came, or the phone call came, or the direct mail piece came. So you know what, that's right, we need to go back and reorder. Anybody else have anything that's a suggestion that you've done in your business that's really helped maintain customers or diversify customers?
Every door direct mail.
Every door direct mail. Yeah. As our friend Jennifer Pham can do for our companies. Again, part of maintaining your customer base is to always be on their mind, whether it be by email, phone, or mail, especially a direct mail program that will ask them for a very cost-effective price. The next topic I want to discuss really comes down to how the business is set up. A buyer does not want to walk into a business that has everything kind of managed only in the owner of the mind's head. And so that's why it's very important to have a very detailed employee manual and procedure set up so that a buyer can walk into it, existing infrastructure in place. When an owner is doing everything, talking to the customers, fulfilling orders, telling the workers what to do, it really makes it what we call a one-man show. And a one-man show, unfortunately, is not very attractive to buyers. Buyers say, okay, great, this is maybe making some money that's happy, that will keep us satisfied, but it's not structured enough that we can confidently walk in and take over from day one. So very important to have a good detailed employee manual. And obviously it's also very important to have the employee manual very current and up to date, as our friend Clement can tell us. Is that correct?
Right.
Thank you. Also, the big thing you've heard me talk about quite often is the lease. If there's too short of a lease or the lease rate is too high, it's a killer for a business. And no buyers are going to want to come in and inherit that mess. And so a great referral for me as well is somebody that you know that is struggling under the weight of their lease or having some problem with their landlord. I can come in and help them resolve that situation so it makes the business, again, much more appealing to a buyer. Another important topic is going to be the books and records. Keeping good books and records are very, very, very important. Buyers want to know what they're buying, and essentially what they're buying is your profit. If you can't properly show the full, true profit potential of your business, you're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table when buyers come in and say, okay, you're making this much, well, I'm going to give you this much. Whereas if you really were making this much and you were showing it on paper, you would have gotten way more. So it's very important to show all of the profit on paper. Another thing I see with clients that have been in business for more than, let's say, 5, 10, 15 years, they start to have an accumulation of outdated or unnecessary equipment or out-of-date inventory. And that only does two things. Number one, it weighs down the business by requiring or increasing the amount of space you need in the business. And number two, you're tying up a lot of capital in that unnecessary or unuseful equipment or inventory. So there's two benefits you get out of selling that stuff. Number one, if you liquidate that, you get a lot of cash. Number two, you free up a lot of space to either do more stuff with that space or downsize and reduce your rent and your occupancy costs. And then the last point I want to talk about is the premises. Very important. I've shown quite a few different businesses, and I've had comments from buyers say, you know what, everything just looked a little disorganized, a little bit out of control, and it leaves a bad impression in people's minds. And just like in a residential home, curb appeal is important. It's the same thing with a business. If somebody can walk in and see everything very tidy and very organized, there's a certain premium people will pay for that. That's another important factor to have. Excellent. Thank you.